I'm not saying that this is the perfect resume, but I'm not saying that. What's up, guys? It is your boy Jerome back at it with another video today, and today I wanted to give you guys a little sneak peek look behind the curtains of the resume that got me a job in investment banking. I don't really know why I'm holding this. This is literally just a blank piece of paper. For those of you who are new to this channel, the main reason I started this channel was to help people like me, people that wanted to switch their careers but had no idea how to do it. I used to be an electrical engineer, but really didn't like that as a career and really wanted to change. And I always had a passion for business and finance in particular. Even though I did engineering all through undergrad, I always knew that I wanted to get my MBA. And so kind of to prepare myself for that, I actually did a business minor while I was still in undergrad, but really didn't get as much exposure as I thought I would in doing that. So when the pandemic hit back in March of 2020, I decided to use that to kind of accelerate my future plans and finally pull the trigger to go back and get that MBA that I always wanted to do. When I first found out about investment banking, I was really worried because while there are a lot of online sources that tell you about the investment banking recruiting process, work-life balance, and how to break into the industry, none of them really give you a clear picture at how to do it if you don't have any experience in finance. That was kind of my inspiration in starting this channel. For me, coming from an engineering background, I wanted to create a channel where people could come to and find out how exactly to change their career from a non-finance related field into investment banking. And of course, the occasional just silly video, because those are fun to make too. But mainly it was to show people my journey of how I transitioned from an engineer to an investment banking associate. And as part of that journey, I want to share with you guys today the resume that got me the job. So if you want to show your support, please make sure to smash that like button down below and subscribe to the channel for more investment banking and finance related videos. So step one, the resume that got me the job. But before we jump into the resume that I actually submitted to the banks, I want to give you guys a quick look at my old resume and what it used to look like before I started the MBA program. So I'm going to pop it up on the screen here. Feel free to pause, take a look, do whatever you need to see how bad that initial resume was. I really don't think this resume was terrible, but its biggest drawback was that it focused way too much on the engineering details, and no one in investment banking is going to either know what that means or care. Like, for example, I've got bullet points in here that talk about replacing a 400 horsepower motor or reducing cycle time. And I think at one point in there, I used the acronym PCB. Honestly, I don't even know what PCB stands for anymore other than Panama City Beach. And now I want to show you guys what my resume looks like now and when I submitted my application to the investment banks. I'll take you guys through kind of the major changes that I made to get it where I wanted it to be and kind of things that you guys can consider in changing your own resumes if you're applying to investment banking jobs. So the first major thing that I had to do was frame all of my engineering accomplishments in a way that was applicable to investment banking. Well, one big thing that engineers and bankers both have in common is that they love numbers. So my first tip is to quantify as many things as you possibly can on your resume. The more numbers, the better. As you kind of scan through this new resume and compare it to the old one that I had, you can see that I tried to add numbers anywhere and everywhere that I possibly could. A $2.3 million cost savings, or leading a team of 6 to reduce failures by 85%, or reducing errors from 1 in 5 boxes to 1 in 40 boxes. Anything you can possibly do to quantify your work is a big plus here. Next, you got to think of traits that are important in banking in general. Banking overall is a relationship management job, so the teamwork aspect of it is huge. And specifically as an associate, you'll be expected to manage both up and down to be able to work with your analyst as well as with your VP. So instead of saying something like, I worked closely with electricians and mechanics to troubleshoot, you could instead say something like, I facilitated relationships between management, maintenance, and operations. This shows that you can work with people above and below you and just a variety of people in general. For another example, instead of saying something like, I assisted engineers with troubleshooting, you could instead say something like, I collaborated with the machine tool team, which sounds more impressive, but also feels like a much more team environment. Another really great trait to have in banking is being adaptable, because you never know when or what type of work is going to hit your desk, and you'll have to change what you're doing immediately to focus on that new task. So take, for example, the bullet point where I say I designed and installed a motor drive within my first 3 months of being on the job. What is the actual important part of that sentence? It's that I'm adaptable. I can be brand new and be thrown into the fire and still be successful. So you should say that. Say, I showcased my ability to quickly learn and adapt by accepting the responsibilities of a lead engineer for the first 3 months of my career. Not only does it show that you're willing to try, but it also shows that you've been successful in doing so. What about the 25-second reduction in cycle time? What can I do with that? Well, at the end of the day, you are still coming from an engineering background, and you can't force everything to fit into the lens of investment banking. So, unfortunately, I had to keep that in there, but at least I removed the embarrassing part about the PCB, which if someone had asked me a question about that, I don't even know that I would have been able to properly answer what a PCB even is. Ultimately, you just need to figure out what traits are important to investment banking. The ones that always come to mind for me are adaptability, time management, ability to work well in a team, and critical thinking skills. Then you just need to find examples from your previous job where you can show that you possess those traits and find a creative way to make it apply to an investment banking setting. I hope this video was helpful and at least gave you some ideas on how to reframe your past experiences for investment banking by using some of the examples that I gave you from my own personal resume. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your friends. As always, I'm Jerome with All Things Tech and Finance, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.